the real, raw, honest conversations about parenting teenagers in today's world. No filters, no sugarcoating, just truth, compassion, and practical insight from experts, educators, and parents who are right in the trenches alongside you. This podcast is where parents come to hear the conversations they didn't even know they needed. My mission is simple: to help you feel supported, informed, and empowered so you can build a connection with your teen that you truly want. If you want to go deeper into this work with me, stay until the end, and I will share how you can connect with me. From my heart to yours, thank you for being here, for doing the hard work of parenting, and for choosing to grow right alongside your teen. Welcome to another episode of Parenting Teens Advice Redefined for today's world, where we have the real, the raw, and the honest conversations that you never really knew you needed. This is the space where we move beyond surface level parenting into deeper understanding, because the truth is, it's not them, it's you. And that's where the magic happens. Today, I'm joined by Spencer DeLisle, global meditation teacher and executive coach, and a president of the Art of Living Foundation of Canada. For over 2 decades, he's helped everyone from elite athletes and executives to students, parents, and educators regulate their nervous system and find clarity and perform at their best. With a background in neuroscience and medical research, Spencer bridges the tools that are at the forefront of work, exploring how breath work and meditation impact anxiety, PTSD, and emotional resilience. If you've ever felt like your teen is overwhelmed, distracted, anxious, or completely shut down, if you've ever wondered how to actually help them and not just talk it out, or if you're realizing that your own state, your own energy, and your own nervous system is impacting everything in your home, and it does, spoiler alert, this conversation is going to shift how you see your role as a parent. Because we're not about fixing teens. We're about understanding the mind, the nervous system, and what it actually takes for both you and your teen to feel steady, to feel focused, and connected in a world that is absolutely not. Welcome, Spencer, to the show.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, and want to really give a big shout out to you, because you create a space where people can really be themselves, and people can learn about different ways that they can manage and improve themselves and give the best to their kids and give their kids the best opportunity. So thank you for creating this amazing space. So happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to have you and experts like you, because we just bring this energy when it's so easy and impactful to have these conversations when you both have the same mission. Yeah. Just to help. And so there's the segue. What's your mission, Spencer? What is the point in all of this?
Yeah. So as you rightly said, I lead the Art of Living Foundation here in Canada, and our mission is to create a stress-free, violence-free world. So got our work cut out for us, that's for sure.
You did.
And that's the idea, right? Like, it's this big goal, and we feel very fortunate. I mean, the foundation was started by a yogic meditation master from India. His name's Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. And he started it 45 years ago. It's our 45th anniversary this year. And so far, we are in 186 countries. We've got 40,000 teachers that teach these very powerful techniques with the breath and meditation, yoga asanas, and wisdom. And then we've touched the lives of about over 800 million people through the courses and events that we teach. So, and we're just getting started. So that's kind of part of the reason that we're here today, is to be able to have a really nice conversation and maybe share some of the things that we do, and perhaps they could benefit. Some parents and students and teachers can benefit from these programs that we've been offering in schools and in the general public for years, with a lot of benefits to every single one of those groups of people.
That's incredible. What a mission. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I've been doing yoga and meditation for years, maybe 30 years yoga.
Wow.
And
amazing.
And it's funny, I find these things, and you might even be able to, you will be able to speak to this, but first of all, I say that yoga saves lives in my world. Yoga and red wine accompany life. But I feel like some people try these things. They try it on for size and they don't see this huge impact in the first 3 days. They're like, oh, shit doesn't work. And for me personally, what I've noticed is that my reaction time, there's such a great pause now in my reaction time. There are things that, I see people completely go off the wall about, and I'm just like, I don't understand why that bothers you. And it almost gives you this sturdy steadiness from the inside out that is almost this slow shift that you don't say, oh, hey, my muscles are really big now. It's like, oh, well, he just cut me off. Well, maybe he's in a hurry and maybe he's running to the hospital, and that's okay. I'm not in that much of a hurry. So can you explain that sort of thing first for people who are parents who are listening going, yeah, okay, close my eyes for 30 seconds. I went over my grocery list and then nothing happened. So can you talk about the shifts and the correlation between the meditation and the yoga and the breath work? Like what is the connection?
Yeah, definitely. So I think you hit the nail right on the head, like particularly in the world we're living now. I mean, they've coined this term, the VUCA world. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I haven't.
Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And it's just coming at us from all directions. I just think back to when I was a kid growing up, and I mean, it's night and day. Like I remember in my grandparents' house, they had a rotary dial telephone. And, you would curse the people that had the zeros in their phone number because you'd have to wait for that rotation to come all the way back, remember?
Yeah, I might hang up because I have a rotary.
Okay, fair enough.
I might break up with you right now, but okay, we'll excuse that because I do yoga.
But, it's interesting because, okay, maybe our messages weren't as fast. They, when you try to get a hold of someone, if you couldn't get a hold of them, well, that just meant that they weren't at home or they weren't at the office, and there was this, different mindset around the space we had to, play the different roles that we have in life. And now really all of these roles are kind of, they're 24/7 almost, and especially with, just passing through this big pandemic. Now, the workday is no longer 9 to 5, so now people get accustomed to having, text messages, WhatsApp messages, email afterwards. And although, maybe at work, you may be, people may say, oh yeah, don't worry about it, look at it tomorrow. The real expectation is not always that. So we're in this state of hypervigilance. And I mean, I think most of us are just so used to running in overdrive that we don't have any other comparison. So it's so true, like, okay, I expect meditation to be this person in the Himalayas with no thoughts and just a big smile on their face. And when I close my eyes for even a few seconds, forget about a few minutes, it's just torture, complete torture. Yeah. So how can this benefit me? And, that's the whole reason that these practices, we've been teaching these practices for 45 years, is because it gives you a pathway to address your own mind and emotions. Because frankly, neither at home nor at school have we learned how to manage our own mind and emotions. We've learned many skills in our education. Our parents have taught us different things. But this is one skill that's often lacking. And this is a skill, actually, which we've seen really unlocks a whole other way of living, that you can access that centeredness and that calm and that peace within you, that creativity, that enthusiasm and energy, which is your nature. You think about it, a baby doesn't need a reason to smile, right? like, it's incredible. Babies just smiling all the time, but try to get a smile out of your adolescent. Or maybe, like maybe even one of your colleagues at work, right? And somehow we've lost that connection with our nature. Mm-hmm. And really, our practice is one of the core practices. It's called Sudarshan Kriya, or sky breath meditation. It's a rhythmic breathing meditation. And in this meditation, these different rhythms of breath, they bring us the whole system, our whole system, back into rhythm. Stress, as you know, takes us out. Mm-hmm. A little bit of stress is great for focus and attention and awareness. But when it becomes too much, then it can actually, destroy us. And in fact, if we want to go to the neurobiology of it, when we get in a stressful situation, often what happens, our cerebral cortex gets flooded with cortisol and it shuts down, and we go into the amygdala, which is the fight or flight kind of lizard brain, so to speak. And this is a brain that saves us in times of danger, but it's something that really puts us in a reactionary mode when we're not being chased by a tiger or something like that. So by doing these techniques, particularly the sky breath meditation, I can clear the cortisol from my cerebral cortex. I can kind of reboot my wizard brain. And through doing so, I'm able to get that calm, clarity, that centeredness, even in the midst of this very high pressure triggered situation I find myself in. And the courses we teach are very specific for adults or for teachers. They're very specific, or parents. And then the course we teach for kids are different at different ages. Mm-hmm. And often, instead of the adult course where we do a lot of discussions and reflections, the kids course, it's all through games. Mm-hmm. So they're learning these practices in a very fun way that it seems like it's just a fun game for them. And they end up having this practice that they enjoy to do and benefits them, not just in academics and having more focus and better memory, but also in their self-confidence, their ability to stand up for themselves, their ability to find a peaceful resolution. We've seen huge decreases in violence in the schools we teach in. And that's because a lot of these kids, they have these tools to reduce that baseline level of stress and to give them that calm and peaceful kind of sanctuary in those very, stressful moments.
And that's amazing when you talk about, we have this external onslaught of information all the time. So if parents going, well, I never needed that when I was young. No, that's the whole point of the podcast is there's things we can't parent like we were parented. I couldn't parent now like I parented before because there is this onslaught of inconsistent information and connection and expectation to have 24/7 access. You have your phone. I see you have your phone all the time. Why don't you answer me? I see your text. That sort of thing. And we have to start opening up these conversations because, when we were younger, we could have a really crappy time at school. We could get bullied, whatever it is, terrible. But then we went home. We didn't bring any of it home.
Right.
We had space. We had the safety of our parents, the safety of our home, most of us, hopefully. And now with social media and WhatsApp and Snapchat, it just comes home with us. There's no way for kids to just go, I'm done here. And if we're not giving them the skills like what you're teaching, this is what they need to learn. And parents at the same time need to learn it because they don't listen to us. We know that. Kids don't friggin' listen to a word we say. We got it. I didn't either. However, they watch every friggin' thing that we do.
That's right.
So how does this, in this like whole world where everything is like constantly distracting and connecting and not having any space, what is actually happening in their brain and their nervous system, and how does it look in behavior?
Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah, I mean, I think that we live in this distracted society. Like, I remember we had one young lady. I think she was like 12 years old, and she was just saying that she can't go anywhere without her phone because, in her words, oh my God, what would I do if someone saw me on a corner waiting to cross the street and I wasn't looking at my phone? They would think I was such a loser with nothing to do. Oh, okay. Wow. First day of the course, she shared this. So it's, I think a lot of the youth, they have these different, insights and different perception of the world around them that maybe we had as a kid. And I think the thing I really love about the programs we teach in the schools, it's called Sky Schools. So we teach from elementary, from kindergarten all the way up to the final grade of high school. Different courses based on the kids' age group. But it provides them with the physiological tools that can enable them to come back to homeostasis, come back to a stable, centered state to make those important decisions, or just to be and live their life with joy. And then there's also the wisdom aspect. There's some really nice wisdom in the program. We have these 5 golden keys, and one of those golden keys is to act, don't react. And we give this example of like how, you're giving your remote control to someone else when you let them, have this effect on you. Effectively, if you give your remote control to someone else, if you press one button, tears come out of the eyes and you feel sad. If you press another button, the steam comes out of the ears and I'm furious and I'm angry. So the wisdom in that is to take back your remote control and effectively remove all those buttons and become button proof. That's the point, is to become button proof.
Good. Yeah.
So then the kids start to see that, oh, wow, just because someone has an opinion about me, I mean, that's just their opinion. I have the freedom to have any opinion I want. So they should also have that freedom to have any opinion. And in so doing, we can take the best from any criticism or any comment and drop the rest, The kids get this greater awareness and confidence in being themselves. And of course, listening to their parents' counsel and listening to their teachers and seeing how they can take the best from any situation. And then on the other side, those physiological tools, like for example, with the breath, can enable them either as a daily practice that reduces their level of cortisol and reduces their level of stress to a manageable baseline. So instead of operating from here and then all of a sudden you get into a triggered situation and the kid is way up here, we know with the screaming matches and the tantrums, we've all experienced that. Up. With the breathing techniques, we can lower that baseline of stress so that instead of being up here and going way up here, well, you're way down here and maybe you just come up to this point, which is much more manageable. And through a simple act of breathing, doing these breathing just a few minutes a day, we can start to see a lot of difference in the way the kids behave, the way their ability to focus, even if they're very distracted, their memory improves. And not only that, there are also techniques that kids can use in the moment. When they really notice themselves getting out of balance, oh, okay, well, there's this technique you can use that no one will know, but you'll do it and it'll help you come back to homeostasis. So we have this balance between the ad hoc techniques in the heat of the moment, techniques we practice on a regular basis as a regular practice on your own, but also we do it in a group with other kids, and we have this community of kids together that are uplifting themselves, uplifting each other, and they get this great community of positivity. And then the other layer is that also the parents are doing these programs and techniques, different techniques, but they're enabling themselves to be centered. So just like you said, they can walk the talk. And they're not just asking their kids to behave in a certain way or do your practice. They're actually modeling that behavior for their kids, and not only being, kind of a lighthouse of that behavior that they like to see in the kids, but they're also able to release all of these traumas and stresses that they've built up after so many years. And then, of course, the last step is the teachers. We also teach the programs, and we have our own program for educators, and that enables them once again to walk the talk and experience the benefits so that they can lead their students effectively, and they're able to also, blossom in their life to the fullest.
I love that. And when we talk about being heightened and then coming back to homeostasis, I feel like some people are constantly in fight or flight to the point where they don't know the difference. So they don't know what it feels like, and they have no clues. They're like, there's nothing wrong with me. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I get you. But and so I think to recognize it in kids, I mean, there's the hyper, there's the attitude, there's the tone, there's the shutdown, the tone. Oh, good God, that would have killed me. Oh my gosh, I went through 2 teenagers, so I don't have any tone. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
Okay,
let's go with that. But then, and we see this in our teens. So as parents, we start recognizing, hey, maybe we need to do some of this work. But as parents, like, are you walking in the door and instantly on fire? The socks weren't picked up, the dishwasher wasn't empty. Like things where if the house was on fire, that might be your reaction, but the sock is on the floor. So can you talk about what it would look like in parents where they might say, oh shit, that might be me. Maybe we need to talk to Spencer.
Yeah. No, I think it's totally natural, right? Particularly as parents, we do, all the unseen things. I remember being a kid, and I know, kids in my family, they have a very, narrow view of everything that the parents are doing behind the scenes to make all of this happen, and they only see a very small part of it outside of their world. And so parents are managing, of course, their job, they're managing everything with the family and the finances and, the community as well. And, we're just pulled in so many different directions. And, no one has, taught to us this incredible wealth and showed us this incredible wealth that we have within us. You may think, oh yeah, I'm a breathing expert. I do it every day. What do I need to learn about that? But it's interesting, there's a beautiful story about this beggar. And this beggar was sitting begging all their life. And then the beggar passed away, and they were removing some dirt from that area and cleaning the area. And what did they find under where the beggar was sitting? A huge treasure filled with gold and diamonds. So this beggar, for their entire life, they were sitting on this huge treasure, and they continued to beg and just have the smallest little bit that they wish they could have to continue living. And they lived their whole life like that. So it's very similar in some senses to how, the way a lot of us are living. We have this tremendous wealth of wisdom within us, this inner intelligence. And if only we knew those very simple practices that can get us in tune with that, wow, our lives could completely transform. I'll give you an example. We also teach veterans, And we had a study where we were working with a gentleman that had been in the armed forces for, I believe he was there for 12 years, and he did 3 tours in Afghanistan. And I mean, his head was on a swivel when he came in, and just completely hypervigilant. And I remember he told me that the most he had slept in the last 10, 12 years was 4 hours. That was the most he had slept. So incredibly hypervigilant. It was so ironic, because the very thing that kept him alive on the battlefield, this hypervigilance, was completely tearing him apart. When he got back home. So he did this sky breath meditation, the very first one. He came back the next day and he was angry at us. So I said, okay, let's listen to him. So he said, because of you guys, I almost missed my dentist appointment. And why is that? Well, because he slept for 10 hours.
Wow.
And I mean, his wife came on the last day and she said, I don't know what you did, but you gave me my husband back.
Wow.
And I mean, he would never admit it. He's that kind of a guy where he's just like, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good now. And, this and this and that. And you could see it, like a smile on his face, something as simple as that, and it's interesting too. I mean, having my own experience, I mean, we may not be in the military or had that kind of experience, but sometimes our life can feel like a battlefield.
Yeah.
With so much stress and all these experiences that we've had from the past that just get lodged in our nervous system, like talk about blast from the past. Like I remember getting my first cell phone and it could only hold us like 50 numbers. And you remember that? Like you would have to, if you met someone, you would have to decide who are you going to delete. Yeah. So, and it's similar to our own brain. Like, even going back a little further to when you used to develop film, at the Shoppers Drug Mart or whatever. And sometimes it would be double exposure, where one picture is on top of the other. Well, our mind is not double exposure. Our mind is like multiple exposure. And no one's ever taught us the delete button, to be able to release ourselves from, those strong emotions and that stress and trauma from the past. And the beauty of this sky breath meditation is that it really puts you in the driver's seat and gives you a tool that allows you to let these things go, so that, okay, sure, the memory of whatever happened in the past is still there, but that emotional burden and that triggering and that stress that was chained to it is now, those chains are broken and we're free of that. Yeah. And I've noticed in my own life that I used to think I was an angry person. I used to think I was an anxious person. I just thought, okay, that's just the way I am. And I just have to accept it. And that's it. And live my life like that. And sure, anxiety still comes, anger still comes. They're human emotions. But now it's like a flowing river. Like through these techniques, I've been able to unload so much of this stuff that I'm able to live more in the present moment and be able to let these emotions flow instead of unconsciously hanging on to them and burdening myself with them. So, I may, come into a room and see things aren't the way they are. I'll go, visit my nephews and we'll have organized things, and I come back and everything's a big mess. And now, the perspective is just like, okay, well, that's how it is. Now what? What can I do? And so instead of this, amygdala lizard brain reaction, I'm in the wizard brain. Because I have those techniques that have developed my nervous system to a point. And I mean, now, like I said, 800 million people, so many people have experienced and are benefiting from these techniques. and it gives you a tool that you can use on a daily basis and even in the present moment, so that these moments of being overwhelmed and reacting at your kids, which later maybe you regret, not only for the kids, but also for yourself, the state it put you in, it becomes something that happens, kind of more and more rarely. And the intensity of those emotions is also less. Almost like I remember, it was almost like a line through cement in the past when these emotions came. I was hooked in and dialed into that, and I was overcome by the emotion, and I said and did whatever I did. But I noticed with time and practice, it became like a line through sand, and then a line through water. And now more and more, I'm moving to this line through air. It's moving in that direction. Sure. Do I still have my moments where, I lose it? Sure. But it's much less pronounced than it used to be. Yeah. The intensity is less, and the frequency with which that happens is less. So, to your point, I think it's so important. Obviously, we give this beautiful set of tools to the kids, but then also to have the parents participate as well. Even if they're doubting it a little bit and they don't feel they need it, hey, why not? There's nothing to lose. Give it a shot, experience it, and then you can make your judgments either way if you want to keep doing it or not.
Yeah, I can hear people saying, "But Spencer, I don't have time."
Yeah.
It brings me to the quote, is it Dalai Lama or Wayne Dyer? I can't remember, who said, you need to meditate for an hour. Somebody said, well, I don't have time to meditate for an hour. And they were like, well, then you need to meditate for 2 hours. And now I'm in it fully, and I understand that. It gives you, it feels like it gives you more time all in the day because you create some space. That's right. So if parents are saying, okay, Spencer, I get up at 7, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. Explain. Yeah. Is this 8 hours in a day that we need to do this?
No. And that's the beauty of it, right? I see Art of Living, Sky Schools and Sudarshan Kriya and Sahaj meditation, all these practices we teach, it's like the ocean. And you can choose what you want to do and how you want to do it. Some people like to go to the ocean and like to walk on the shore. Other people, they like to go surfing. Some people like to scuba dive, but the ocean is there for you just to offer everything for you. And in the same way, that's the way Art of Living exists. And, once again, to reference what you were saying, I know a similar situation that happened with Gandhi, where a reporter had asked him, oh, how do you manage to meditate? You're the busiest person on the planet. What do you do when you're really busy and you don't even have time to eat? And he said, well, in that case, I don't meditate once a day. I meditate 3 times a day, or twice a day. I meditate 3 times a day. So it shows that actually most of the time we're wasting time. Why? Because the mind is not in the present moment. Yeah. We're doing one thing and our mind is thinking about another thing. Yeah. And there's this big culture of oh, well, I'm past that. I'm a great multitasker. Oh. I can multitask and I get everything done with multitasking. And now the research demonstrates that the brain does not multitask. No. What does it do? It switches. Mm-hmm. So it's constantly switching and needs to remember and go back to what it was doing when it goes to the next task. So something that should take you, an hour is taking maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours. Something that should take a day, 2 or 3 days. Something should take a week, take 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So, and why is that? The mind is not in the present moment. And the next question will be, okay, well, my mind is all over the place. What do I force my mind to be in the present moment? For most people, that hasn't worked out too well. If you can't sleep, can you convince yourself to go to sleep? Well, I'm a double PhD. I should be able to convince myself. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. That's the thing. There's a different laws for the body and the mind. The laws of the body say that if I put resistance, say on this computer and I push it away, well, it's going to move. But if I put resistance on my thoughts or emotion, what will happen? Well, they persist. Whatever you were in the level of the mind, whatever you resist persists. So then what to do? The mind is bouncing back and forth from going into the future. We're exhausted. We're overburdened. I have no energy. What emotions come up? Maybe anxiety, maybe fear. My mind goes to the past. And the same thing. I'm exhausted. I'm overburdened. Maybe I'm in guilt or anger or what have you. Mm-hmm. And it's like we're bouncing back and forth. We're not just stuck in one. Mm-hmm. And, if you've ever had a piece of pizza that's been in the freezer and you put it in the microwave and then it gets too hot and you put it back in the freezer and then you put it in the microwave, freezer, like, how is that going to taste? Right? Not too good. No one's going to eat something like that, but we do that to ourselves all the time. Mm-hmm. And we wonder, like knowingly or unknowingly, and we wonder, oh, why am I sick? Or why do I feel exhausted all the time? And that's where those tools can come in very handy. Being able to invest, a few minutes a day to bring your mind back to the present moment and resource yourself will actually save you time. Mm-hmm. You're looking for a way to gain more hours in the day. Well, that's how you do it. Bring the mind to the present moment. So instead of something taking me, 3 hours to do, okay, it's going to take me 2 or 1 hour. Why? Because the mind is in the present moment. I'm going to make less mistakes because my mind is in the present moment. And yeah, no problem with making mistakes. I mean, this is a great way, the way we learn. But hey, if I can learn from someone else's mistakes rather than making them myself, I'd rather take that part. So it's really an investment, and we all make investments, for our finances. We make investments for our family. And often one very important person is getting left out of all those investments. And, giving yourself permission to have this time is a step on its own. And being able to say, okay, hey, I deserve this time. Yes. And besides my own benefit, I'm going to be a better mom, a better dad, a better teacher, caregiver, because I've been able to rejuvenate myself in just a few minutes. So that step of being able to kind of put the oxygen mask on yourself first is so helpful, to be able to have the courage and to be selfish about your practice of breathing and meditation, and take those few minutes a day or whenever you're able to do it.
And not only are you giving yourself permission, now you're giving your kids permission to go. That's right. Oh, I'm allowed to ask for this space. I'm allowed to, and encouraging that is just what a gift, that you're giving your kids, I think. And you talked about, there's still the triggers and there's still some anxiety. I think the beautiful part about this work is that those come, but we're so quick to be aware of it and shift it.
That's right.
You get this onslaught of anxiety, and if you don't have any tools, there's a vortex. Like you're spiraling and you're not getting out of it. But when you really start to practice this work, it's like, oh, I felt that. I don't like how that feels. Let's switch this around. And you have, the tools to get out of it so much faster. I mean, yes, it's going to come, but yes, we can go, oh, I know exactly what that is. I'm out. I'm going to do something else here. And it's such a gift to have that. And to, we get a choice now, when you said even at the beginning, that's who I am. And clearly that's not who you were. Mm. We get a choice every single day, every minute, to choose who we want to be and how we show up as parents. And yesterday might have sucked. And I might have been the biggest biatch on the face of this earth. And it's happened. You can ask my kids. But then you can get up and you open your eyes and say, okay, who do I choose to be today? Do I choose to be gives myself space, that gives myself, and you get to do that. Like, that is our option. It's all,
Wow.
it's us, right? And to be able to do that, and it's incorporating, it's these tools that you're talking about that are so vital that, I think some people just kind of brush it off without really recognizing the impact it has. I think it's so important. And the fact you're delivering this, oh my gosh, the way you are, and to as many people as you are, I think that's gold. I love that. That's a gift.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And we, of course, we Art of Living as an organization, we offer these to families and, adults and kids in the general public. Then we have our sister organization, the International Association for Human Values, that offers it in schools. So we that's our institutional kind of branch. They offer it in schools and also in universities as well. The program in universities is called Sky Campus.
Oh, cool.
And we're at over 16 universities right now here in Canada. And we offer it on campuses. And we're in the US. In the US, I think we're at about 160 universities in the US, some for credit as well. So incredible.
And I believe so it should be.
Isn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
And even in the elementary schools and the high schools here in Canada and US and abroad, we incorporate it into the curriculum, for those months that we're working with the school, and then after for the follow-ups. But this is really something that's, it's such a powerful way to be able to unlock that hidden potential for all of us. And we also work with athletes. We were working with tennis player who she was a teen, and she was basically one of the best tennis players in the world, actually. She was in the top 50 in the world for her age group. And she eventually, was approaching the top 10. And then she totally fell apart, and she fell down to 350th place. And it was not because of her skills. It was because of the way she managed her emotions. She was such a perfectionist that she's 15 years old, and she would just get, incredibly angry at herself for missing a shot. And the things that she would say to herself on the court.
Oh my God.
It was interesting. I remember talking to her afterwards and like, do you remember saying what you said to yourself on the court? And she said, yeah. And I said, would you ever say that to anyone else? She said, oh no, it's so terrible. I would never say anything so terrible to anyone. And then before she finished, she said, oh. Yeah. And it's like, in the heat of the moment of those emotions, they take over and they can melt you down so that all of a sudden you're in a corner and the kid doesn't want to talk to anyone, is non-responsive and just completely shut down, or in such anger and expression that they lose everything and just don't care anymore. And it was so interesting because we taught her some of these foundational techniques, and she was a very talented girl. She ended up getting an academic scholarship to Princeton, and she went from basically like a walk-on the tennis court to being number one in the country.
Wow.
In the NCAA. Wow. So just an incredible story, and kudos to her for, applying, these techniques and making it a part of her life. And yeah, that's one thing, like these techniques, it's like when you pull a chair towards you, right? When you pull one leg of a chair, do you just get the one leg? No, you get all the legs come with it. So by being able to finally give ourselves that rejuvenation and rest we need, and start to develop those muscles of managing our mind and emotions, and essentially connecting to that inner intelligence within us, then we start to live a totally different kind of life with, a higher degree of awareness, So we're aware of ourselves, our emotions, our state, and also the people around us. We have much more empathy to our parents, our teachers, our friends. We start to have this life where we feel more compassion for others and those human values, Dawn. So beautiful. And then we feel belonging. We feel a belonging with not only just our family, but with all the kids around us. I mean, we have this one exercise that we do with one of the kids' programs where it's you like make a new friend every day. So, at the end of the day, they think of it, oh, no, wait. They think of it the first day like, oh, wow, 365 days. Wow. Where are we going to put everyone for the birthday party?
Love
but it's so nice because like our world shrinks so much as we get older. So if we can instill this in kids to be able to, hey, stretch my hand out first, be that friendly, compassionate person. It's a beautiful way to not only be able to connect with others, but feel that belonging in myself. So I never feel lonely again. Yes. And then what comes with that, a very strong commitment and confidence within myself to be able to not be afraid to fail, to be able to give my whole body and mind and heart when I do something and just let everything go, give my 100%. And there be no room for regret. So, I mean, these are three of the values that come up when you start to practice these techniques: awareness, belongingness, and commitment.
I love it. I love it. It's beautiful. I just finished collaborating on an anthology, and the title is Daring to Belong.
Wow. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful.
Amazing. It's for kids with autism, but I mean, anyone, amazing. Right? Anyone. This has just been so impactful. I feel like we need a sequel, and I would love to do a sequel for teachers.
Love to. That's a great idea.
25 years in education. I know.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. So, and high school in Canada. So it would be good. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service. That's incredible contribution.
Best job in the world, honestly.
Wow. No doubt.
Spencer, is there anything I didn't ask you wanted to say?
Well, one thing I would like to share with everybody is that, we also really believe that, the world is one family. And we want to make celebration, like life a celebration for everybody, every person on the planet. And so every 5 years we get together and we have what's called the World Culture Festival. So in a phrase, it's kind of like the Olympics of culture. And that's the thing, like we may look different, we may eat different food, but we're one humanity. Yes. And this is an opportunity to celebrate diversity. Mm-hmm. And so we have, groups from around the world, from cultures from around the world, and we have different singing performances and dance and spoken word.
Wow.
And all kinds of different performances. We have, food trucks from all around the world. And the first one we did in Bangalore, India, we had about 2.5 million people. Second one we did in Berlin, in Germany, in the Olympic Stadium, actually, where Hitler launched, the kind of World War II and all that thing. And we kind of flipped the script.
Love it. Oh my God.
And had this celebration of peace and diversity, which was amazing. Then we had one in Delhi on the banks of the Yamuna River in India. And we had 3.75 million people come. It was incredible. Like I remember I was one of the MCs, and I remember getting up there and saying Namaste India when I got up, and just this Namaste, this vibration that came. It was incredible to have so many people together for positivity. And then just recently, a few years ago in 2023, we had one in Washington, D.C., and that was on the National Mall.
Oh, wow.
Just over 1 million people that came. And it was incredible. We had one of the largest meditations in North America, 17,000 artists, 85 food trucks. And so every 5 years, we have, countries kind of duel it out to bid for the World Culture Festival.
Okay, when's it coming to Canada? Excuse me, you're Canadian. What the heck?
You got it. You got a great intuition. So we won the bid for the World Culture Festival. Canada won the bid.
That's amazing.
And so it's going to happen next year. So fall of 2027, it's going to happen in Toronto, but we're going to be celebrating the whole year. Until then, we're going to be celebrating. We're going to have curtain raisers and cultural events celebrating all kinds of diversity until that festival in Toronto. So fall 2027 we'd love you to come.
I will be there. I will
amazing.
Be and committed right now.
Amazing. Oh, yeah. Amazing.
I got goosebumps. I've got goosebumps.
So cool. And we would love your family of listeners to come and join us because
amazing.
It's such a special moment and it's such an incredible experience. And we're so excited to have it in Canada. So we'd like everyone to come. And this year being our 45th anniversary of Art of Living, we have some celebrations happening. We have some incredible courses. So you can go on artofliving.org. If you'd like to learn more. And then if you'd like to learn more about our school programs, those artofliving.org is for all our programs for adults and kids. But if you want to learn more about the programs we do in the schools, it's skyschools.org. And then we also have another institute that we've built around intuition, actually. And it's called the Institute of Absolute Intelligence. And that's instituteofai.ai. Okay. And this is something we didn't get a chance to talk about.
We need a sequel, man.
We need a sequel because it's a remarkable institute, and the techniques and programs we're doing there, it's really a revolution in education. So excited to share those things with you guys next time.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to put everything in the show notes. Spencer, I am blown away. We talked, I read your stuff. I thought it was a great fit, but I'm blown away by your work.
Me too.
I'm so grateful for you and the work you're doing. I feel it to the bone. I will see you with the next sequel, and then I will see you in 2027.
Amazing.
So excited. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to Parenting Teens Advice Redefined. If there's an episode you share, this is the one. Listen, if you're thinking, I don't know if I'm going to try it, can I just dare you? I dare you to try the tools and see what happens and come back and let us know that it didn't work. Yeah, right. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Before you go, I really want you to know something. I'm not just a podcaster. I'm a speaker, a published author, and the founder of Insight to Impact. I'm an educational strategist and family advocate with over 25 years of experience helping families and schools support teenagers from diagnosis to IEPs, to interpreting assessments, to high school transitions, and beyond. This podcast, Parenting Teens Advice Redefined for Today's World, is part of my mission to help parents understand schools, support their teens, and feel heard and seen at the table. If today's episode helped you, please subscribe or follow the show, share it with another parent, and leave a review. It truly helps families find the support, and I'm very grateful when you do these things. And if your teen is struggling in school, navigating a new diagnosis, or you need help preparing support at school, you can work with me directly through educational consulting or my 90-day advocacy program. Just visit CherylPankhurst.com to learn more and to book a complimentary consultation to see if I can help. I know parenting is frickin' hard, but if you're listening to podcasts, if you're reading the books, if you're looking for answers, you are not failing because you're still trying. You do not have to figure this out alone. I got you, and we'll see you next week.